Hi, it's Brad Clark, and in this video, step 1, I'm going to teach you how to set financial goals, which is a very important step. So, what do we do with goals anyway? Well, with goals, we can do a couple of important things. The first is we can identify very actionable strategies and good strategies for us, and they may differ person to person. The next thing we can do is from strategies flows action, and then from action flows peace of mind. And after all, that's what I think all of us are looking for in our retirement years, how to maintain our ideal lifestyle and do it with peace of mind. So goals are the first step in that process. So there's two types of goals I'm going to cover very briefly. The first is spending goals. The second is protection goals. So when it comes to spending goals, I like to think of spending goals in 3 layers, if you will. The first layer is needs. These are our non-negotiable spending goals, like gasoline or clothing, other types of transportation, housing, etc., etc. So there's our basic living expenses and our health care. The next 2 layers are wants and wishes. This is discretionary spending. So learning how to break up your goals or prioritize your goals into these 3 levels is really, really powerful. So let's talk about a couple of examples. So as I mentioned, with needs, we have basic living expenses and healthcare are very common. With wants, a lot of my clients want to travel. They may want a vacation home. They may want to do charitable giving. They may want to, for wishes, they may want to leave money to a child or grandchild. They may want to help grandchildren with education, right? So there's all sorts of goals, and you need to identify them, quantify them, and prioritize them. Relatively straightforward, but it's a very helpful process to step through needs, wants, and wishes. The second type of goal is a protection goal. So it turns out there are 12 risks to your retirement income. And there's 4 ways to manage risk. So let's talk about those for a second. The first is you can try to avoid the risk. The second is that you can assume the risk. The third is you can try to mitigate the risk. And the fourth is that you can transfer that risk to an insurance company. So you have to be your own chief risk officer and learn how to think about risk kind of dispassionately. So the first category of risks is outliving your resources. Longevity means living to be 95 or 100. Inflation, we haven't had that in a long time, but it could come back, and it could be devastating for retirees because it reduces your purchasing power. Another risk is that you simply overspend your portfolio. There's a bunch of investment-related risks like interest rates or stock market returns. There's one called sequence of returns, which we're going to talk about, which is not so much what are the returns, but in what order do you experience them as you head towards retirement and in your first half of your retirement. And then finally, taxes is another important risk. So the last category is risks around aging, healthcare expenses, long-term care, which is different than healthcare, the idea of cognitive decline, which a lot of people face, and then finally elder financial abuse. A lot of these are not fun to think about, but you have to plan for them. So which risks concern you the most? You've got to step through the risks and identify the ones that concern you the most so that you can do something about them. So again, our framework for risk management is we can try to avoid risk, we can assume it or bear it, we can try to mitigate it, or lastly, we can transfer risk to an insurance company. So in this video, I just stepped through goals. In the next video, step 2, I'm going to step through how to maximize your Social Security benefit. Thank you.